everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I've been married to a covert narcissist for almost 20 years. I'm separated from him now, and what I do with this channel is I use my real life experiences to get information out there to people about what narcissism really is, what it does to you, and what it does to your family. For today's video, I have a special guest. I've recently met a subscriber, and he's going to come on and tell us what it's like from a male's perspective to be married to a covert narcissist. So Joe, welcome to the channel.
Thanks for having me, Sharon. It's good to be here.
So you've been married for 20 years, correct? Roughly?
Yeah, about 20 years, and separated. She's not legally yet, but she's been gone out of the house for about a year now.
And you have two children, is that correct?
Correct. You got two sons, two boys, Luke and John, 20 years old and 16.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your marriage? So it was 20 years. Was it a good 20 years? Were you guys kind of up and down? Or tell us a little bit about your relationship.
Well, it was, yeah, I think, 20 years ago I met my wife. I was a recovered alcoholic and addict, and actually met her in the rooms about 20 years ago. I was sober. I was just getting sober. I was 25 at the time. She was in and out of sobriety for a little bit before I came in. I didn't know that, but she was married beforehand, was getting separated, and that's how I met her. Unfortunately, I stayed sober for a long period of time for that marriage, and she didn't. And it wasn't until much later, unfortunately, that I realized that the reason behind her drinking and drug addiction had something a lot more to do with her personality disorder. And I didn't come to find it out until about a year or two ago, unfortunately.
So it seems like a lot of people find out that their spouse or significant other has narcissism because they just put the symptoms together by looking up what they've done. Is that how you found? How did you find out that she had narcissism? Like for me, I found out when I started looking stuff up on Google, silent treatment, that type of thing, and then it just kind of fit together. Now, in my case, my ex was later formally diagnosed, but I know that doesn't always happen. But sometimes I feel like you just know when it's so obvious. So why don't you tell us about how you discovered that your ex is, in fact, a narcissist?
Well, it's actually, I think it took so long for me because being in recovery from, being in recovery from drugs and alcohol for a long time, and I think for many years, I was able to stay sober. She had struggled, so it took a while to add up the dots because it was more like I thought of it as an addiction that she had a problem. Man, it wasn't until about 17 or 18 years later into the relationship that it's kind of difficult. There was another person. Now, at the time, there had been many affairs that my ex had while we were married. Some I knew about, some I didn't. But about 3 or 4 years ago is when the emotional detachment started for me, where I was pretty much done. I was there for the sake of my children because I knew that in her hands that she was in trouble, so I couldn't just leave. I had a lot of issues too. Codependency was part of it, trauma bond, my own demons, But I think about 3 years ago, I started getting involved with another person I never really got involved with before, but somebody was actually giving me the attention and just acknowledgement that I actually existed.
So like a female you're talking about?
Yeah, correct. And nothing ever became of it, but there was something about it that was very, very off. Like the way that she acted, and that's actually the ironic part is that's when I started researching the way she was acting. I think and a lot of it led to narcissist personality disorder.
So let me just clarify. So you're still with your wife and another female is giving you attention, and that has kind of gotten the gears turning in your head and looking up information from the other woman, the way she was acting?
Yeah, exactly. And I had a couple of friends, a real close friend of mine told me, he said, Joe, he's like, I know a lot's going on. You've been through a lot in your marriage. And if anybody's going to have an affair and be justified, it would be you. He said, and I'm not telling you that's a good idea. He said, but this one that you're after, this particular one, he said, stay away from. And I was like, well, why? And he said, he didn't know nothing about narcissistic personality disorder, but see, she was in recovery too. Like, she was in the same kind of program I was in for drugs and alcohol. But he heard some things about her, and he said, you know, Joe, if you think you're the only guy she does this with, you know, and I was like, well, yeah, I do, you know. I mean, it was, you know, bruised my ego that he said that, but I couldn't picture her doing this with other people. I mean, she was high status, like attorney, like she was well educated and actually had her crap together, which was nice, you know, for when you're married to what I was married to for so long. But so that's when I started, like, some of the ways that she was acting, and it all kind of led to narcissistic personality disorder. When I set up healthy boundaries in the smear campaign, in the stalking, and just textbook NPD. And that's when I learned about narcissism. But it wasn't until my wife had been separated this last year, where it must have been maybe this last year, about 10, 11 months ago, I was thinking about this lady again, because she started kind of hoovering again. It stopped because of the pandemic and the shutdown, but when they started opening up places again, she started again. And that's when I thought about it. Just like, one day it like hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like thinking about my ex-wife. I'm still married to, we're in the process of a divorce, who's been gone for a year. And it just was like this, I don't know, awakening. Like, I was thinking about this other woman. Then I started thinking about my wife, and oh my God, the affairs and the smear campaign that she left when I had told her she had to leave. And it dawned on me, I was like, holy crap, my wife's one of these things too, you know. And then after that, like about 20 minutes later, and I was like, my mom, who also had like depression and addiction and stuff, and she had taken her own life, but like, it dawned on me that my mother was one. And I was like, this is how I've been attracting, like, I'm a natural magnet to people like this for some reason, you know. But it was an awakening, because I thought my wife was maybe bipolar or like just manic depressive. She was a drug addict, you know, and in recovery, like, I had my own demons I had to deal with, you know, and I wasn't perfect in many ways. When I got sober, though, it was making amends for all those things. But yeah, it was really messed up. It was jacked. I didn't know what reality was.
Yeah, that seems to happen to a lot of people. All of a sudden, it'll just hit you, and you just know. And then your life changes from that point on. You know, you can't unknow it. So what happened? Why are you separated now? Did a big event happen, or was this just a decision you made, or did she leave on her own? What happened at the end?
Well, towards the end, I think there were some things that were set up. My oldest graduated from high school. She had asked her mother-in-law to come live with us. I don't know why, actually.
I'm sorry, her mother-in-law, her mother?
Yeah, sorry, my mother-in-law, her mother, lived with us. And when Lukey graduated from high school, like last year, is when she decided to start, like, heavily getting involved with, like, drugs and staying out till like 3 or 4 o'clock, and you know, and it got to the point where my bank card was stolen, like $10,000 was missing on the account, and it was like enough was enough, you know. You know, somewhere along the line, like last year, God gave me the green light. You know, there were many reasons why I stayed, but He gave me the green light this time. When it's like, you don't have to do this no more. You know, my sons were older now. I had custody of them, temporary custody, when they were 4 and 1. And I made the mistake of letting her come back in.
So what happened at that point when your children were younger and you had custody?
Same thing, like the drugs and you know, so I thought this whole time it was her addiction. You see, what I didn't understand was, like, that person that was like having those affairs and stealing my money and like not really giving a crap about anything, that's who she was. And the times that she was playing sober, that was the mask that she had on for me, you know? Like, she knew I was in the being sober, living a sober life, living a different lifestyle, so she just pretended like that's what she was interested in. I thought that's who she was. But who she was like the person that was out, like, doing all kinds of crap behind your back. But this last time, it was just the boys were old enough where I didn't have to, like, they knew. They were like, Dad, you know, we're with you, buddy. You know, I didn't have to leave them. I was afraid to leave them with their mother at a younger age. And she has called the cops on me, like, plenty of times and had me arrested. The charges were always dropped, but, like, whatever to get me out of the picture so she could do what she wanted to do. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, narcissists are known for that, using the police, using anything that can happen. That's probably, you know, how is it as a man? Because I feel, you know, I've had to call the police on my ex before, and the police were on my side. Was that an issue that you had? Is there, what happened? Like, how did the police get involved?
Well, usually, like, what happens is, at least for my state where I live in domestic violence, if somebody calls the police, somebody's getting arrested.
Yeah.
Like, it's usually the other person. The one that called the police is fine, the other person getting arrested. Well, like, you feel foolish. I mean, you're a guy, I'm 6'2", you know, and you got this, you know, 5 foot, whatever, one, you know, small female, and she's a great actress. And she calls, and you're like, what the hell's going on? I don't even know. I was in the same room with her. And, yeah, of course, they're going to contempt prior to investigation. You know, they're going to put you in handcuffs and guilty until proven innocent kind of deal. The charges were always dropped because there's nothing ever there. But, yeah, you're screwed if you're a guy. And not just that, but it's like you don't understand. Like, there's your friends all look up to you because, you know, you are who you are, you know, and they know what I'm about, but they don't understand, like, how you could let somebody like that, like, walk all over you. It's hard to say, well, dude, I can't leave my kids, you know, like, if I leave my kids, they're screwed. The last time I did that, like, she was dropping off her, you know, she was dropping them off to her heroin girlfriend's house on the weekend so she could go out to casinos with another guy. Like, that's not what I want to have my sons, so.
How are your boys now? You said they're older. Do they have a relationship with their mom?
No, they don't really talk to her at all. Like, I encouraged it, like, at first, but she couldn't get sober. Narcissists are not, like she gets sober and they're not finding crack pipes in her car and, you know, they're safe and whatever. It's just I encourage them to have a relationship with their mom. But right now she's very dangerous. This last year somehow, and I've been taking care of both our sons. Like, her mother's living with me still. I got her dog, 2 cats, like a whole household I've been taking care of. And somehow she's a victim of all this. And, you know, I'm still this bad guy kind of deal. But I feel bad for them, you know. Like, they deserve so much better than that. You know,
when you say they, you're talking about your sons?
Yeah, for sure. Like, they deserved a lot better than what she had to offer. You know?
Are you essentially a single father then at this point? Your boys live with you?
Yeah, for sure. Like, Luke, he's older now than 18, but he still needs a lot of help. There's a lot of, when we raised him, when I tried to be involved with the schooling and this and that, there was a lot of, my ex would really, like, go out of her way to, if it was sit down, do your homework first before you go out and play, it was, nah, you don't have to do that. It was just, he had a lot of potential and he was never given any consequences. And, you know, so emotionally the kid's probably like 12 or 13. I got to keep that in mind. So I'm going to ease in him a little bit as long as he's working. But, and then Johnny, he's still under 18. He needs a couple more years in high school, and they're doing okay though. They got a lot of responsibilities, but it's good in a way, you know.
Do they understand narcissism? Do they know what that is? Or?
No idea. It took me 3 years to figure out what my damn life was, you know. After 3 years of studying it about somebody else, and then it dawned on me, like, that my wife and my mother were. How is like a 16-year-old going to even grasp a concept? I mean, the disorder is so disordered that it took me years to like accept that exists, you know?
Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. So where are you now? What are your plans going forward? You said you're separated, so you're in the process of getting divorced. So let me ask you, as you know, kind of to wrap this up. So where are you now, and where is she, and what are her thoughts on this? What is your relationship with her now?
Well, I don't have any contact with her now. I got a restraining order on her. Finally, a good friend of mine suggested that I do that because a lot of threats and just lies and just, I don't know, it was just horrible. At the beginning, about a year ago, before I kicked her out, like we were going to get a disillusionment where there was an agreed set amount to be paid. Everything was going to be split up, and she went her way and I would go mine. And she reneged on that, of course, after she got her money. It was just a nightmare. It really was. But anyways, the bottom line is I got enough courage and worked hard enough to get a lawyer to, like, she left me broke. Like, she stole every penny out of my account and took our only car before she left. So it took me a while, but I'm finally, like, retained an attorney, and, like, we're going through with, actually, that disillusionment or whatever that she wanted last year, she demanded it. Like, she was like, I want this now, or I'm going to take everything that you have and this and that. And I was like, all right, you know, I'll give you what it was. And I did, but, you know, this time it's like we're going back to what she had originally wanted, what I gave her already, is just get the hell out of my life. I just want some peace, you know?
So you guys are, like, in agreement on this?
I don't know if she's in agreement or not. I don't give a, you know, crap, excuse my friends, if she's in agreement. I know that I'm all for, like, I actually had to hire an attorney, and my sons understand. Actually, they understood a long time ago. But, yeah, I'm going through it now, and I don't care what she agrees or doesn't agree. It's like, it doesn't matter to me no more, you know.
So what are your plans going forward then, just for yourself and for your boys?
Well, you know, just the drama, like when you live with that crap for 20 years, the drama is just incredible. Like, I want some drama-free life. It's hard to say, like, at first it was just, I wanted to, like, just live my life in peace. Every time she would reach out, it was always some kind of threat or some kind of garbage coming into my life. It was like poison to me. And just to be free of that. But I don't know. I wasn't thinking about getting into another relationship at all. It never was on my mind. I was never that kind of guy anyways to do that. I was always into, like, doing my own thing. But I think some things have changed the last couple of months. And I think there's definitely an opportunity to, like, know true love, you know, with somebody that I met a few months ago that I didn't even try to really meet or was looking for. You know, it was just somebody that I think the God of my understanding put in my life for a reason. We have a lot in common, a lot of mutual respect and understanding and trust that was built. It was just something bigger than what I could have imagined that I ever thought, you know, existed out there for me. So
you're in a good place then. Would you consider do you think you're going to have your happily ever after? What do you think on that?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm here visiting you, you know, and you're the one that helped change my life. You're the one I love. So we'll see. It takes two to tango there, Sharon.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up with that. And thank you so much, Joe, for coming and being on the channel. You're my first guest, so that's kind of exciting. and maybe you'll be on the channel again. What do you think?
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you all. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Very grateful for everybody who subscribes and listens to my channel. So if all goes well, I will see you all on Wednesday, and hope everybody has a wonderful week. God bless you.